Hello guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be going over everything that I read in January. I know I'm a little bit late, I just haven't had much time recently. I still need to record this one as well as everything that I watched in January. So yeah, but before I showed you guys what I read in January, I did quickly want to go over the spreadsheet that I use now to track everything that I read. I had one similar for what I watch, which I did talk about in my what I watched in December video. But I created a separate spreadsheet to track all of my manga as well. And just to quickly show you guys how I track everything, here's the spreadsheet. The first column just shows you guys the title, then the number of volumes that I own for that specific title. Then if I've read it, I put a yes. If not, there's a no. And then we go into my rating system, which for manga, this is how I will be rating my manga from now on. So I will be rating it on a score of 1 to 10 for the art, the story, characters, and then just my personal enjoyment. And then I will average all of that out and give a final rating for every single volume that I read. And then for a specific series at the bottom, you can see that I will give a series final score. So that's just the average of all of the overall ratings for for all of the volumes for that series. And then at the end here, similar to the movies and stuff that I collect, after I'm done reading a specific series, I will determine if I want to keep it or not. So if I put a no on this column, that just means that I'm going to end up selling it on Mercari. So yeah, just wanted to quickly show you guys this. I know that there's other ways to track manga and anime, such as Mal. I've tried using Mal, but I don't know. I just kind of prefer making my own little spreadsheet, kind of personalize how I rate and track everything that I read. So I decided to go this route, and I like it so far. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. How do you guys keep track of everything that you guys read? Do you guys use Mal? Do you guys think I should just go ahead and update my Mal? Because I did create one, but I haven't updated it in a while. Since I started this spreadsheet, I kind of dropped Mal. But yeah, another quick thing I did want to talk about was my Instagram. So I've been using my Instagram a lot recently this past month, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. And this month, specifically in February, there is a challenge going on from Marguerite's Manga. She's running a challenge on February that's really fun. This will be my first challenge that I ever participate in, and so far it's been pretty fun. I've already done the first two, which was to take a photo of your 2BR stack as well as a picture of your last favorite read. For me, that was the quintessential quintuplets. That's what I had been reading those last couple of days before I posted that. And yeah, I'm loving quintessential quintuplets, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, I would definitely suggest checking out my Instagram. There's a lot of cool posts. I post stuff of all of what I'm watching, what I'm reading. So yeah, if you guys are interested, definitely check out my link down below to follow me on Instagram. But all right, now let's go straight into what I read in January. So the first series that I finished in January, finally, this is one that had been taking me a while to read. And this series is Bleach. So in January, I read volumes 65 through 74, the complete series. Here's the first 4 volumes. I just kind of want to show off these covers because I do really love the covers for Bleach. I love the consistency that they decided to go with the white background and just showcasing a different character in each volume. I think they all look really nice. Here are the next 4, volumes 71 and 72 being one of my favorites from these 4. I just love how Nemu looks here, and I did love the way that her story kind of concluded a little bit in this last arc. And then the final 2 volumes 73 and 74. Love both of these covers. We have Renji on volume 73, which I think looks really awesome, and then Ichiko and Rukia in volume 74, which is pretty fitting. The story kind of started with them, so it only makes sense to put them in the last volume as well. And yeah, I finally finished the 1000-Year Blood War arc, and there is definitely a lot of stuff to enjoy about this last arc. Although personally, I didn't think it was one of my favorite ones. I mean, I did enjoy reading through it, but kind of in retrospect, I did find myself, I think, enjoying a lot more the other arcs, like the Soul Society arc, the Arrancar arc, the Hueco Mundo arc. I really enjoyed all of those when I was watching the anime, and this final arc didn't quite live up to the highs and how I felt watching the anime back in the day. So yeah, this is probably my least favorite arc, but I still really enjoyed it, and there was a lot of things to enjoy here. We got to see a bunch of bankais, especially General Yamamoto's back in volume 57 and 58. Those were actually my two favorite volumes from this whole box set. We got to see Yamamoto in action there, and that definitely did not disappoint. I was hoping we would see more of that type of action, especially towards the end of the series, but nothing in the end kind of lived up to what we saw in those two volumes. But yeah, if you guys have read it, you guys will definitely know what I mean, and I can't wait to see all of that stuff animated in the new series coming up later this year, I think. I think they announced that the new series is going to be released later this year, so can't wait for that. I also did definitely enjoy the time skip. They skipped a few years after the events of everything that happened with Ewok, and we got to see our characters, who they finally ended up with, as well as their offspring, which was also really enjoyable. And yeah, as far as that goes, I did enjoy the ending, so I wasn't completely disappointed with the end. There was definitely still a lot of great action moments, and like I said, I'm still really looking forward for the anime. So yeah, but ultimately in the end, this box set 3, all of the volumes that I read in there, all of that averaged out to a 7.9 out of 10. So yeah, I would still definitely recommend it, but yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the next series. Alright, so after I was done with Bleach, the next volume that I jumped straight into and I was really looking forward to is Raw Hero Volume 3. This is a series that I've talked about before. It is becoming one of my favorite series. This is from the same creators as Prison School, and I just really enjoy his comedy. And in this one here, while we still also did get a little bit of that comedy between Chiaki kind of joining the villain organization and kind of going up the ranks, in this volume he's already becoming like a small little leader in one of the groups that's in the villain organization. So that part is pretty funny because we still get him kind of cosplaying as a girl. So that's always funny, but the reason I enjoyed this volume just slightly over the first two volumes is because we do go a little bit deeper into the storyline with Mariko, which is kind of his love interest. She's a girl that's striving to become a mangaka, and Chiaki is kind of helping her, kind of pushing her to sort of go and realize those dreams, and I'm really enjoying it so far. Although at the very end there was some drama between Mariko, Chiaki, and the mangaka that's trying to help her out, or I guess help her out. So yeah, that last chapter there did kind of get me a little bit upset, but hopefully everything turns out fine in volume 4, which I'm just patiently waiting for. Hopefully, I haven't checked when it gets released, but I know it should be coming in like the next 2 months at least. So yeah, overall volume 3, my score for this volume was an 8.2 out of 10. So I think I rated it a little bit higher as far as characters go because I'm really loving Mariko. Which, I don't know, I have a theory about her. I have a feeling that she might be the leader of the villain organizations, so we'll see if it pans out that way, but that's just what I'm thinking in the back of my head. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, Raw Hero Volume 3, definitely recommend you guys check this one out as well. Alright, after I was done with that volume of Raw Hero, I decided I wanted to start trying and complete series. And I know that Livingstone was a pretty short series. It's only 4 volumes and you get the complete story. So I decided I wanted to read that one this month, and this would probably be my first completed series. I know Bleach is completed, but I kind of cheated there because I only read box set 3, so I didn't read all of the volumes in that series. But this would be the first series that I read all of the volumes in one series. And yeah, it was pretty enjoyable. In this series, we follow these 2 characters here that are featured in the front of these covers, which I just wanted to point out that these covers are really awesome. I think all of these covers look amazing. I think my favorite one might be volume 3. I just love how Sakurai looks there with the skull. Let me just read the back of this first volume here, but as you guys can see here, every soul has a plan, but if you stray from your destined path, your soul stone, called a cyclolith, becomes tainted and shatters, bringing misfortune to all that encounters it. So yeah, basically in this series, we follow these two characters, Sakurai and Amano, and as you guys just saw there, what they're trying to do is basically prevent souls from becoming tainted in the first place, and they try to capture people before they start to veer too far away from their predetermined path. And yeah, it was definitely really interesting. I mean, the concept was pretty interesting to me. However, in these first 2 volumes, I kind of felt like it was kind of like a case of the week type deal, where every chapter was just a new case of these 2 characters kind of figuring out what the issue is, solving the case, and then in the next chapter we just jumped to a new case. So by the end of volume 2, I was kind of like getting a little bit tired of it. I was like, okay, are we gonna keep doing this throughout the whole series? But then no, once we got to volume 3 and volume 4, we kind of dived deeper into the backstory of Amano, who ends up starting to remember memories from his past self, because generally when your soul transfers from one person to the next, you don't remember your past anymore, but in Amano's case, he did start to recall memories from back from his past self, and it got really interesting in volume 3. And then with volume 4, I think they did have a pretty satisfying conclusion with Amano, and yeah, overall for this series, I ended up giving it a 7.2 out of 10, which is okay. It's pretty average, but for me personally, it's not something that I connected with too much, and I don't feel like it'll be a story that I would want to come back and visit. So I might end up selling this one on Mercari. So if you guys are interested in this series, definitely let me know, but I will also post it on Mercari. So if you guys are interested in buying it from there, just check out my link down below. I always put a link to my store on Mercari, and I should post it up sometime in the next week or so. But yeah, still a really enjoyable series. Just me personally, I don't find myself coming back to it, and I do love these covers though, so I am kind of sad about letting these covers go because they're really awesome, I think. But yeah, those were my thoughts on Livingstone, so let's move on to the next series. Alright, after that in January, I also did get volume 4 of Gigant. And again, this is another series that I've been talking about in the past, similar to Raw Hero. So I won't talk about the story too much and just mainly focus on this volume. But man, this is just another series that I really enjoy. I love picking this up whenever they get released, and I just read through them really quickly because this is a series. Whoops. All right, I think that's safe. But this is a series, as you guys can see here, there's not too much dialogue, but just the action and everything going on. It's just crazy, and it's really enjoyable series to just kind of pick up and read through. You can get through each volume pretty quickly. Takes me around 10 to 20 minutes to get through these volumes, and it's really enjoyable. And some of the stuff that happens in this volume kind of seems like it would be a climax to another story, like the final battle or whatever, because in this volume we kind of have a Papiko going up against 3 giants, and then there's also like a huge robot and it's just craziness going on. And I don't even think we're like at the midway point of this storyline. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure how many volumes there's gonna be for Gigant, but yeah, definitely some great stuff in this volume, and I rated this one an 8.125. So just slightly lower than Raw Hero. I think I am enjoying Raw Hero as a whole a little bit more than Gigant, just because there's more of a storyline there, and I enjoy some of the characters more in Raw Hero. But Gigant, pretty close there, pretty close behind Raw Hero as being some of my favorite series that I'm reading right now. But all right, those were my thoughts for Gigant. Let's move on to my last series that I read in January. All right, and then the last volume that I read in January, and one that I'm continuing to read right now, I read everything that's out now. I'm just waiting for volume 12, I think. But I've read now up to volume 11, and I'm really enjoying this series so far. These volumes here, they kind of pick up right where the anime ends, because I think the anime covered up to the end of volume 4. And then these next 4 volumes, they kind of seem like these are something that I guess season 2 is going to cover everything in these volumes, because the end of volume 8 seemed like a good cutoff point for the end of season 2. And yeah, definitely enjoyed these 4 volumes more than the first 4 volumes. I don't know if that was just because I had just seen the anime and I read the manga right after finishing the anime, and it was kind of a one-for-one adaptation, so I think the anime did a pretty good job. But yeah, finally here, it was all new material for me, and I found myself just enjoying it a bunch more. Unfortunately though, I thought that they were gonna kind of move forward from Uesugi-kun tutoring these girls, but no, it looks like they're gonna stick with that. He's still mainly their tutor, and the storyline here was a bit more interesting though, because the Nanako sisters, their father, kind of gives him an ultimatum where if he doesn't become the top performer in this final test that they take here, which I believe was like a national mock exam. So he's going up against everyone in Japan, and he just had to be the top performer in his school. It kind of gave him a rival there too, so all of that stuff was pretty fun. But kind of moving past all of that, we moved into volume 8. This was after all of that stuff with the final national mock exam. And volume 8, man, this was my favorite volume that I've ever read for the quintessential quintuplets. Even up to volume 11, I just really enjoyed volume 8. Just the setting as well. They kind of go into hot springs, and I guess it's kind of a staple. Every series has to eventually go to a hot spring, but it was definitely enjoyable here. We got some revelations that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting for Nino to become one of my favorite Nakano sisters, which in this volume she definitely did. She kind of gave Miku a run for her money there, and while Miku is still my favorite one at the moment, Nino is definitely second now. And yeah, really enjoying the series, and now I just can't wait to read till the end. I know I've heard that the ending isn't very satisfying, and I can kind of see where it's going to now that I've read up to volume 11, so I have my theories as far as who Uesugi is going to end up with. But yeah, honestly, at this point, I love all the Nakano sisters, so I think I'll enjoy the ending no matter who he ends up with. But yeah, love this series. I gave volume 8 in particular an 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, that's one of my highest rated volumes that I've given all of the volumes that I've read. So yeah, 8.5 out of 10. And then the other 3, I gave them a 7.8 out of 10, which I rated all of these higher than volumes 1 through 4. I gave those a 7.6 out of 10. So yeah, definitely this series is one that keeps getting better as it goes on. And yeah, it goes without saying that I definitely recommend this one as well. I think anyone will enjoy it. And yeah, that's everything that I read in January. For February, I will definitely have a huge reading log, because I put a challenge for myself to read 1 volume every day, and I've kind of been following that. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you can see what I'm reading every day. But in next month's reading log, I'm definitely going to be talking about a bunch of series. So yeah, I look forward to sharing my thoughts then. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.